about to go live with Steph Douglas, founder of Don't Buy Her Flowers. She's a wonderful woman. She's local to me, so we do know each other. And she's very honest and witty, and she tells it as it is. So I'm really looking forward to this. She not only is running a business that's doing quite well in the circumstances, but also with 3 children in tow. So we're going to ask this superwoman, how is she doing it? With thanks as ever to NatWest, 3 and Dell and Royal Mail for helping me bring SME SOS to life. They are working tirelessly in the background to support this community, and I, for one, am very grateful.
Hi, I'm Steph Douglas. I run thoughtful gift company Don't Buy Her Flowers, and I'm having a chat with Holly Tucker about running a small business in a crisis, what we're doing to keep the team safe, some thoughts on online shopping. I think we'll talk about marketing and advertising during this really weird time.
Oh, how are you?
Yeah, all right, I think.
Yeah?
How are you?
I'm all right. I wanted to ask you, before we get into the whole business side of things, I wanted to ask you, how are you personally doing in this, before we get into it all?
I think, like everybody, some days it's like you wake up and kind of go, look, I'm really lucky and I've got a house and a garden and I'm able to keep my business going and I've got my family, and I know there's so many people that are worse off. So some days you can have that kind of reflective and perspective and all that stuff, and then other days you wake up and go, I cannot do this today. Can
I just press the stop button on it all?
Yeah.
How have things been for you? Because I was just mentioning, I think it's okay to say when your business is actually thriving, because it's not something you pre-planned. Let's put it that way.
Mother's Day for us has always been really big. That's always been it's almost our Christmas. I know for loads of small businesses, Christmas is the big. For us, it's Mother's Day. And it has been every year. So we were kind of in the run up to Mother's Day this year, like we're planning and we're obviously getting an extra stock and basing it on a percentage growth on last year and then the week of Mother's Day was the same week that it ramped up a notch with people realizing that they weren't going to be able to see their families, and I think that was the biggest thing for us. So that it was that run up to that week, people were going, actually, do you know what, I can't go and visit my mum. It was before lockdown, but older people were told to stay home. So that hit at the same time as Mother's Day. I mean, the chances of all this kind of aligning is, still can't get my head around. And at the same time, we were on Lorraine, which obviously had a massive platform because everyone was at home watching telly rather than being at work.
Wow, congratulations.
Well, but it's been mental, but it is a thing to get your head around, because I've got so many friends who are struggling or who've had to furlough already, furlough their staff. And we're kind of, and also I think because of the pandemic, we've had wobbles. All of the team have. I woke up the day after Boris Johnson's lockdown announcement last Monday. I was like, well, we've got to shut down, because it felt irresponsible to do anything else. And then you have to kind of look at the guidelines. We've got a health and safety guy who, till now, he hasn't been a joke, but we've kind of thought we're paying.
But you didn't want to go to the pub with him.
No, he takes it very seriously, which is great, because that's what you need, right? I saw like people going, you shouldn't be shopping online. Well, at the moment, that's the only money going into the economy. So the question isn't whether you should be shopping online, it's whoever you're shopping with, are they doing everything they should be doing to keep their team safe? Are they doing it responsibly? Because if they are, then you're paying salaries, you're paying mortgages, you're paying, and also all of our suppliers, most of whom are small to medium-sized business, because that's who we kind of wanted to work with, that's money going into them, and then that's money that all of their supply chain are going to get. So you can't just, if you
I think at the moment we can't, it's a bit like when we talk about the environment, we can't do everything, can we, as small businesses? I have to rely on the Royal Mail to be keeping their staff safe, like you're keeping your staff safe and I'm keeping my staff safe. But that's not to say that then we shouldn't be selling online. And if we are doing well, do well. And if we haven't gone online, we should. Another question. I am a wild woman. That is who's asking, not me. I am a little bit of a wild woman. You're much more wild, Steph. Asks, what advice do you have for marketing at the moment? I'm struggling to post anything sales related, but of course it's essential to business. it feels like such an icky position to be in.
It's a bit like if someone does a post about a lipstick or something, you're kind of looking at it going, really? Like what? Yeah. So I think personally, we actually we've hardly done any marketing. So I think social's really good because you can put more to it. You can give more context to the story, and you can relate to everybody that you know is going to be watching. There's nobody who's going to be seeing your stuff who isn't aware of what's happening. So it's really weird if you don't mention it. And I think that's something that when you see someone just blasting an ad for, like I said, lipstick, it just looks really strange. I think PPC is a really good idea, because then if you're not pushing your ad onto someone, they're coming looking for you. So if it's something that you like, we're obviously seeing uptake in people looking for care packages. We do books, and actually alcohol is selling very well. Gin and tonic has gone through the roof, like pallets of it. And I think
that's a great thing. You could take this time, couldn't you, to learn Google AdWords, and even though maybe you have a gin and tonic while you're doing it, but there's so many tutorials online that you can actually learn it yourself. Think about the specifics of your business. As you said, it can now be nice and niche. People are looking for things. So actually you will just be there. So it's not, it's proactive advertising, but not intrusive in a way. I love your tagline, thoughtful gifting company. I've been thinking of products unnecessarily, but maybe I should be thinking of them as thoughtful. What makes a thoughtful gift?
So our kind of main focus is about encouraging people to take a bit of time for themselves, because I think where it came from Gifts for New Mums, that was very much about the initial package was a care package which had a magazine and some chocolate and tea, and it was this, and it came from my own experience, was I never managed a bloody hot cup of tea when I had small kids. There's 3 of them now, but because you'd make it and it would sit there and then you might heat it up in the microwave, and that's never nice. So that idea of, and we do a thermos because of that, and all those things. I think that idea of encouraging someone to take time for themselves, we then found it works for bereavement, it works for get well, it works for just people who are like, lots of our packages sent for TLC. Just the way that we live now, we're all a bit crap at giving ourselves time. So when someone else gives you something that is about saying, please sit down, I think you're amazing, you're doing a great job. Like the tag messages we're seeing are, like we're all literally like someone, like we've got obviously our WhatsApp groups and we're passing them around, and at the moment a lot of them, we've got loads of packages going to doctors or midwives, and it's their friends going, you're doing amazing, and it's really emotive.
Keep going.
And it keeps us going as well. And I think that idea that you're then sending someone who you know is going to be run off their feet and their hands are bone dry, so they need an amazing hand cream, or that they're thinking of what they need. So that's the thoughtfulness. But
tell me, if you are struggling, firstly, the points that we're making there would be, how do you pivot your business? What sort of advice would you give to someone struggling?
I think if for example you furlough your team and you can't be running your business as such, I think you have to see it as an opportunity to just clear your head a bit and have time. I know when you're running a business, there's very little time for doing what you're supposed to do as the business owner, which is that oversee, and going like, oh, I've got clear thinking, and this is what we're going to do next Mother's Day. This is what we're going to do. And if you haven't got that customer base, that time could be invaluable. It could be researching products. It could be finding partnerships. It could be finding someone who at Christmas time is going to be like an ambassador for you, and you can spend some time nurturing that relationship. And I think
that's a good point.
That's all, and then if that's all you can do, and that's going to be really tough. I know it's going to be really tough for a lot of people, because there's going to be a fear of, is this ever going to pick up again? And I suppose you've got to do what you can to help it to pick up. And
it will, right? It's going to pick up.
Yeah,
we're going to go back and we're going to learn things that we never ever would have thought that we would have learnt. We're going to develop as human beings. As Will was saying, the teams, if you can keep your team, even if you let them go on furlough, keeping them feeling part of the company, you're going to have a stronger team united on the other side of this than you ever did, I would say, going into it.
That for me, this has been a massive learning, the communication between the team, and that, like, I'm obviously, so I'm near Richmond, near Holly, and our warehouse is in Gloucestershire, where I'm from, so it's 2 hours away. And the reason for that is, one, price, and and also my brother heads up our operations. We've got a whole team there, and that's that kind of distance means that obviously it's hard. I'm not there all the time, but we're talking constantly, but we're talking even more now because everything's changing all the time and the pace is changing, and also just checking up each other. And I think that week of Mother's Day, by the Friday, I mean, Holly's seen me cry actually, but by the Friday, because it had been so intense, because it went after the Lorraine piece and it went so nuts, I was so, my team were amazing, and I just kept crying because I also, at the same time, the news in the background was like, this is really ramping up. And I was all over the shop, but I was also so grateful for having an amazing team. So it taught me a huge amount about the team because they were in it. And I feel really lucky because, and I suppose I've got lots of people, I know lots of people who started businesses and they've kept everyone freelance because it's a nervousness of fully employing people and temporary workers and stuff. And actually we haven't done that. And I've suddenly realized the benefit of that now because they're in, they're really,
in. You don't have to worry.
No.
I've got another question for you. At Helen, the lovely keepsake company, should we be looking to be flexible and look for opportunities to keep us going during these weird months, or focus and stick to our knitting? Is this a time to be opportune or bunker down? Good question.
Yeah, I think it depends on your business. I think if you need to keep money coming in, which all of us do, then I think you have got to look for those opportunities. And for lots of people there are. I mean, even if you look at like the fitness industry and the kind of how people have pivoted there to doing online courses, and loads of people are doing online courses. I know it's quite overwhelming, some of it. But again, they're looking at, well, I've got clients and I need to keep working with them. So I think unless you are able to stop and, like I said, go, well, how am I going to use this opportunity to develop my business and work on ideas and have that time I've never had? Because I haven't had in 6 years, once you start, you're just on a train, aren't you?
Yeah.
So it could be that for some people that's amazing. It might even be that some people go, do you know what I've been doing isn't right, and actually I want to go in this direction, and now's my chance to, I haven't had that thought process to be able to do that. So I think it really depends on the business and the person.
And I think I would add to that as well. I probably would say that out of this time, if you haven't, now, unless you are so busy you can barely keep up with anything, this is for anyone not in that category, I would say everyone needs to come out of this different to how they started. Because I don't see that if you aren't, working 15-hour days or 12-hour days and your business is going nuts, this is the time to have reflection. So I would say, I think you should bunker down and do what you do. But if that is the case, and actually you've got hours in the day that you normally would be working and you've got that time to think, I really do think this is the time to be developing your companies. Because as Steph says, we all know the second this all becomes normal again, we're never going to think about our companies again. We are going to just be doing and in the time and in that moment. So I would say that even, everyone should say to themselves, after this, my business is going to be in some ways developed or healthier or smarter, or I've corrected the wrong that I had done before, but I could never really unpick it. So I think that that's really, we've got to think of this time as something positive towards our businesses, even if it's not sales coming in. Tell me, what do you think personally what do you think personally you're going to take out of this time? What's something that you've learned, like not for the business, but something that you're going to take on board that because I'm making some promises to myself, I think.
I don't think I've had much space to think because it's been so busy. I think my biggest takeout at the moment is about how important the team are and also that kind of does impact on how my own life and set up here, because the fact that I can delegate and that they are in it and they're responsible and I don't need to worry.
I want to sum up our conversation, if I may, putting on my newsreader glasses.
I like it.
So the most important thing is to keep the staff safe, keeping them feel safe, their jobs safe. The team is the most important thing. I couldn't agree more. Social is really good right now because you can get give more content, put more story out there, and everyone knows what's happening, so it's not odd if you're mentioning it. PPC is a great idea right now because you're not pushing your ad onto someone, they are looking for it. So you're actually a service, aren't you? If you come up in Google, maybe it's time to learn Google AdWords. It's proactive advertising, not intrusive. The admin, the planning, this time is invaluable. Researching products, finding partnerships, nurturing relationships that you can nurture now for further on in your business journey. And it's a time for reflection, and we have to think about the positives in our business. So thank you so much for your time. I know that you had to do your extra shifts this morning for you to be here, and it's just been a pleasure. And I'm so glad that last time you were crying. As you know, I'm a bit of a crier. I never thought I was a crier, but I am. And but this time we seem to be smiling. So I'm wishing you everything, Steph. Keep it up. And I'm so glad that business is going well for you, because you deserve it. And anyone that's doing well at the moment, please don't be shy about it, because you know you didn't create this situation, and it's just great that you're there to allow people to be thoughtful, Steph. So lots of love, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
For now, thank you as ever to those businesses who are helping me bring SME SOS to life. That's NatWest 3, Dell and Royal Mail. And to all of you, thanks for tuning in. Lots of love.